Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley, and if you're new here, we like to talk about stuff like manifestation, the law of attraction, spirituality, self-development, and just creating a high vibrational state of living. Now, in today's story, or today's video, I want to take some time to talk about how to protect your energy. I know a lot of people who are into spirituality and the law of attraction. A lot of us tend to be empaths. We're empathic to a lot of people. We tend to absorb people's energy. And unfortunately, if you are a member of the manifestation community, you already know that energy, especially high vibrational energy, is extremely important when it comes to manifesting. So you really need to protect it. You need to cleanse it. You need to be careful about the kind of environment and the kind of people that you expose yourself to, because it could be very easy as an empath to absorb this negative energy that will just bring you down. So these are 4 ways that I have learned to protect my energy. I know there's tons of other ways that work for other people. There might be different ways that work for you, but I'm just going to share about what works for me, things that I know definitely work, and they might work for you too. But before we get into that, just want to send you guys a quick reminder to please comment, like, subscribe. I'm trying to manifest 1,000 subscribers by this fall. I would love to get there at some point in October, but if we can do that before then, I would be eternally thankful. So please just comment, like, subscribe. It would really help me grow here on YouTube. Okay, so the first way to protect your energy would be to be selective with who you hang around with. Now, at a minimum, you should be surrounding yourself with people that are going in the same direction as you. And if you're on this channel and if you're a member of the law of attraction, then you are likely going forward. You're going upwards. You're going towards a successful life, a life of happiness, a life of positivity. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to surround yourself with people that are necessarily in the same industry as you, that have the exact same goals as you, or that even have the same values as you. The important thing is to surround yourself with people that are committed to moving forward, that are committed towards improvement, people that have a higher vibrational frequency. But an even better suggestion would be to surround yourself with people that are above you, people that you aspire to be like. There's a saying that goes that you are the average culmination of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And I find this to be very, very much true. Just based on experience that I've had, based on the different people that I was hanging around with. When I was around lower vibrational people who just were lost and had not found their way, I slowly found myself falling into the same mental state versus when I hung around other people that, were business oriented and that were super successful, and people that had found the value in themselves. I started to develop that same level of success as well. Try to surround yourself with happy, successful, kind, generous people. And the more you surround yourself with these people, the more likely you are to get there, and it will likely happen a lot quicker. And then the third point here for this first part is to stay away from energy vampires. Now, how do you know what an energy vampire is? Well, these are usually the types of people that love to play the victim. It's always about, why me? Why does the world pick on me? Bad things are always happening to me. People who can't help but be miserable, people who are pessimistic about everything, those who believe ideas and opportunities are too good to be true. It's like that quote, misery loves company. And these people, even though it might not always be on purpose, these people will weigh you down. They will suck the energy out of you because of how much it takes to deal with them and how much it takes to, make them happy, that eventually you will notice that you are being brought down to that lower vibrational frequency. Now, the second way to protect your energy is to have clear boundaries and to stick with them. Now, I know a lot about this because growing up, unfortunately, I did not have the easiest childhood. It was a very difficult situation, but thankfully I've been able to overcome quite a lot of my challenges. But at the time and before I knew about the law of attraction, I had developed a tendency to be a big people pleaser. And even to this day, sometimes I still catch myself falling into this, but now I'm at least much more self-aware. I found myself wanting to please people by constantly saying yes to things or to commitments, even though I didn't really want to. And I found that I would give a lot to people, more than I could afford, whether that was monetarily, energetically, spiritually, even though I didn't have much to give at that time. Or sometimes I would just give to people in hopes that they would see my value and then return the favor. I learned that this just doesn't work. It actually opens doors for people to just take advantage of you. So I thankfully did learn to set some boundaries. Your boundaries can really be whatever you want them to be, and they can change as you grow. But the important thing here is that your boundaries make you feel safe and comfortable. Only you will be able to fully decide what these boundaries are based on your life experience. Now, I'm not saying that you need to walk around with a big label on your head that says what your boundaries are. You don't need to be overly aggressive about this. You don't need to automatically tell people what your boundaries are when you first meet them. This will actually end up pushing people away, even if they are some of the good people. What I'm saying here is for you to decide what your boundaries are, to commit to them internally, to be mindful of them, and to respect them yourself. Because if you don't respect your own boundaries, no one else will, right? And when you find yourself in situations where your boundaries are being pushed, you can express them, and you should express them, but it doesn't have to be in an overly aggressive manner. It could be something like just letting this person know, hey, I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable here. Let's just scale back a little bit. Or, you could just do something very simple and just remove yourself from that situation. That's something I like to do quite a bit whenever I'm put in a situation that I just don't want to be in. Or if I'm kind of forced to go to an event or a place where I don't want to be and I feel extremely uncomfortable, I don't have to explain anything to anyone. I know that I could just simply remove myself from that situation and I'll just leave. My third tip is to cleanse. Now, I know sometimes it's a little bit harder to say no, and sometimes you feel like you absolutely have to go somewhere. For example, you could have a situation where you have somewhat of a toxic work environment and energy vampires are around you. So sometimes it's a little bit harder to just not put ourselves in these situations. So I find that when we are in these situations and we come home, the first thing I do is cleanse. Now, there are a couple ways I do this. And an important part of this specific tip is to be a strong visualizer. It might take some time to develop, but I find with just a little bit of practice, it becomes a lot easier. So the first way I do this is to take a very hot shower, and I visualize as the shower is coming down from the shower head and it's falling on my head. I close my eyes. I visualize that all of the negative energy, all of that black energy is just being washed away as the shower is running and the water is, falling from my head down the rest of my body. I just picture it completely cleansing myself from it. And I also take some time to appreciate the hot water because it kind of reminds me of warmth and comfort. It almost feels like you're being hugged and reminded that things are being okay. The second way I do this is to meditate or to just put myself in a quiet area so I can be alone and let my energy recharge. When I meditate, I just go to a quiet area. I clear my mind. I regulate my breathing, just take 5, 10, 15 minutes to just completely be in silence and clear my mind of any negative thoughts, feel myself realign, feel myself recharge before I'm ready to go back into the real world. And then the third way I do this is by saging. Now, I know a lot of people might not know about this or might not even believe this works, but from my experience, it does help. And saging is known as a spiritual tool. It's basically dry sage that you burn and you use it to clean the energy in a room. It can also be used on yourself or on other people. I do this whenever we move to a new place. I don't know what the history of this place is, so I rather just cleanse it so I can start fresh. I do this regularly in my current home, whenever I feel a little bit spooked about some energy, I take the time and I sage that particular area of the house that's bothering me. Or I've noticed that whenever I feel like I've been around too much negativity, I'll just sage myself. And the important part in saging is the intent behind it. So I find that, thinking or even vocalizing your intent behind the saging, like removing these negative energies and telling them to clear and that they're no longer welcome here, it usually works. And now the fourth tip I have for you on how to protect your energy is to simply choose yourself before choosing others. And I know this might turn some of you off and it might sound like I'm telling you to be selfish, which I kind of am, but it is for a reason. For example, let's say you're a mom and you have 3 kids, you have a high level job, you have a cat, you have a husband, and God forbid you have a mother that's also quite sick and needs a lot of attention. So I can definitely understand that your need as a mother, especially as a woman, is to give and to make sure everyone around you in your family is well taken care of. So at the beginning, I'm sure you're full of motivation and you're committed to doing this. You just want to make sure that everyone is okay. And at the beginning, it might seem like, okay, you can do this, right? You are giving and you are helping everyone. But eventually, all of this effort and all of this energy giving will start to catch up with you. Eventually, you'll start to notice that you're not sleeping anymore. You have no more energy. You're not going to the gym anymore because, all of your time is being consumed. All of your energy is being drained. You're gaining weight because you're no longer taking care of yourself. You're no longer taking the time to go to the gym or to make healthy food choices. You start performing poorly at work because you're not sleeping properly anymore, or your mind is just in a million different places. All this because you simply stopped putting yourself first. There's another quote that says, "You cannot pour from an empty cup." And Abraham Hicks also says something like this, where they go that you can simply not make yourself poor enough to help the poor. Before you start giving to other people or before you start filling other people's cups, it's important to take some time to check in with yourself to see how you're doing. Because if you are already depleted, you're not going to have much to give to everyone else. And in turn, it's just going to end up affecting you and everyone that you love. And I know it might seem a lot more difficult at first. It's easy to tell someone, just do this, just do that. But the key here is to start small and to do little things for yourself as often as you can or as often as you need to. And that can look in a lot of different ways. So for example, if you didn't get enough sleep that night, take a 20-minute nap later on in the day. Or if you need help with your kids, hire a babysitter. Look at it as an investment for your mental well-being to hire that extra help you need to make sure that you're okay to keep going. Or if you don't have enough clean, also, you could also look at that as an investment to hire a cleaning lady that comes to help you once a week. Or, you could just even ask for help from your family or from your friends. And if you don't have enough time to go to the gym, maybe take some time and do a home workout that's about 20-30 minutes long. The point is to prioritize your self-care and to prioritize your mental well-being. And sometimes this could look like the things that I just mentioned, or sometimes it could look like, treating yourself to that Starbucks coffee that costs $7. Or it could look like taking a nice warm bath, locking the door, silencing the room, putting on some candles, and just really checking in with yourself and making sure that your energy is okay. When you're able to prioritize your well-being and your health, you end up being the best version of yourself, right? It's also a part of setting boundaries that you essentially come first. And when you get to be the best version of yourself, everyone wins, not just you, because they also get to experience the best version of you. All right, so those are my 4 tips and today's video. If you guys have any other tips that work for you or tips that you would like to share, leave them in the comments below. I'm sure other people would appreciate that information. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video.